Hey, good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
How'd it feel to hold your grandchild?
Oh, I've held him before. It's the second time we've been there.
Oh, yep.
It was fun, but traveling is no fun.
No, not anymore.
Oh,
Last couple of trips we've had. What was your experience?
well, we got there fine, but getting home, I wanted to change my flight because I heard there were terrible thunderstorms here. So we changed it, and then the change flight was canceled, and then we had to go to a different airline. We went back to Alaskan Air, but we got home yesterday after
Wow.
after 3 or 4 changes.
Sounds like planes, trains, and automobiles.
I tell you, it's just not easy traveling anymore.
I know. Yeah, I agree. Our
And
experience last couple of
last week there were terrible thunderstorms. The heat was terrible here, but California is beautiful.
You're in the southern part with your daughter, right?
No, it's not too far from Mountain View in San Jose.
Okay.
It's a beautiful area. I mean, it's just really nice. The weather is great, but kids raise babies now differently than we did it.
How so?
Everything is an app.
An app.
An app, APP,
Yeah.
to do everything.
Now, I was thinking our manual was like what to expect in the first year, what to expect when you're expecting. Like that was kind of like the Bible of child experience raising, all that other stuff. Plus what your person would share with you too.
But now everything has science is doing this, you do that. Okay.
Oh, whoa. Oh, here's the princess.
Hello.
I did the class on Thursday. It was very good. And
Good.
Thank you.
So I'm just getting my water.
All right.
Is the weather any better in Florida, heat-wise?
It's just nasty hot. Like it feels like temperature every day has been over 100, sometimes close to 110. And
No, not 117 was the worst.
Close. Okay, rounding. My goodness. Okay, Mrs. Exact is now here.
Yeah.
All right.
It's much better here now.
Yeah.
There's Sue. Hello.
All right. Now that we're indoors enjoying the air conditioning and avoiding all of that outdoor heat, it's time for, you got it, Sunday Funday. It's underway. Today we're going to get started all the way at the front part of our mats. We're going to bring our feet together and we're going to try to find a nice relaxation through the knees. Kind of like, if you've ever skied before, how you just kind of like ski in parallel. So I'd like you to bring your thighs, feet, and just bend the knees ever so slightly. And then what we're going to do is take our butt backwards to get a pronounced weighting back into the heels. Now, as we do that, I'd like you to kind of engage your tummy. And to do that, I want you to pull up and in the belly button and stick out the chest. Let the arms fall by the side. Spread the fingers widely. Draw your shoulders up to the ears, and then sweep the arms back. As you sweep back the arms, keep the elbows locked out, nice and straight. Keep those fingers nice and wide. Spiral the thumb backward, proud out the chest. Take a big breath in and sweep the hands forward and up. Bring them up shoulder height. Bring some straightness to the legs now. Drive your heels into the earth. And while you do that, I'd like you to try to pull the legs together like you would a pair of chopsticks. Feel those inner thigh muscles, and then we're going to reverse that sensation by pushing the feet out and away from the body. So we're going to oscillate in and oscillate out with the feet. It's more of an isometric activation. I'm using my hands to demonstrate, but it's really down in the legs. We're really activating these inner and outer thigh muscles. And then hold on that. Draw the butt back. Stick the arms forward. Let the shoulder also slide forward. Take a big inhale. On the exhale now, I'd like you to pull both shoulders backwards. And then take your hands, spread them nice and wide. As we create length for the arms, separate the fingers widely, and then use the fingers to pull the whole arm carriage off the center line of the body. Take a big breath in, stand tall, salute the sun. Exhale powerfully, and fold it down. and then step it back to plank. As we continue, to warm our body, I'd like you to be respectful of how it feels today. This next little bit of warm up is basically rhythmic, moving forward and back. I'd like you to drive your heels to the earth and then push with your toes, come forward, and then move forward and back, ever so slightly. This little bit of movement in the shoulder, helping kind of lubricate that particular joint. Now, drive the heels back, pull the hips up and back to down dog. Push up onto your tippy toes, drive your heels to the earth. Do that a couple more times. And then float it back to plank and lower your knees down onto the earth. Just separate the knees to the width of the mat and flip your feet so that the tops of them are on the mat. And feel that nice opening through that shin muscle. I'd like you to drift the hips backwards towards your heels. Let that booty kind of fold down. And as you do that, walk the arms out. And continue to inch forward with your fingers, walking the hands, the arms, and everything. Now, if your head's fallen off the body, I'd like you to lift the back of the head and keep that chain of muscle from the back of the head into the top part of the back, nice and active. So we're actively pulling the head to that nice lengthening as we kind of deepen this stretch. We do so by pushing the chest through to the earth, not the head. And then come up onto all fours. Separate your feet to the width of the mat and tuck your toes under. Nice. Now, we're going to float up off the knees just an inch or two, and we're going to rock forward and back. We're going to hold back, pull the hips to the sky as we come into a short stance, down dog. This may give you an opportunity to drive your heels into or onto the mat, and it may not be possible, but that's what we're trying to do right now. Get that nice, long, lengthened sensation for those lower leg muscles. Now, proud of the chest, pull your hips to the sky, drive those heels into the earth a little more if you can, and then walk your hands back to your feet and remain folded. So I have my feet separated to the width of the mat. If you don't have them there presently, you can step them out. As you inhale now, extend to a flat back. Keep that back in extension as you bend both knees and lower that booty. Now walk your hands to the inside of your feet. Turn the fingertips around to aim backwards, and then walk the hands backwards as you try to sit down the body. So we're kind of levering over our hips, and we're using our hands for support. If you want to have palms flat on the earth because the weight bearing is a little too much for your fingers, you're more than welcome to do that. We're going to push up the hips to the sky. Let the upper body fold. I'm going to keep the arms in place. And then we're going to bend the knees and lower the booty, extend the spine. Take a big breath in, push back up. And as you exhale, sit it back down. So we're just working hip mobility right now. Try as best you can to give as much weight bearing to the legs, but offset the effective amount of work with the arms so you're able to get as much range of motion as possible. Push the hips high to the sky, and then slowly lower back down. And then take your right hand, step it forward, do the same with the left. Push your hips back up, fold back into the legs. As you take a breath in, sweep your arms to the sky and salute the sun. Hello, everybody. Back to standing, pull, 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 fingertips pulling arms nice and high. Feeling that nice fill of the lungs with your breath. Powerful exhale, hands come back over hearts. Good morning. Now, step your feet back so that you're under hip width. Take your right foot, step it forward. Keep up on the toes of that back foot. Take a little gander back. Make sure your heel is aiming up at the sky. And if it's not, give me your best version of that. In the front foot, I'd like you to take the ball of that big toe And make sure it has a nice connection. Make sure that the small toe hasn't lifted off the earth, so it feels that touch. And now the heel, you're going to have some weight bearing there, but I want you to feel more weight towards the ball of the big foot right now. And see if you can kind of find that. See if you can kind of rotate down and get that without taking that pressure off that outside foot. Lean in a little bit. And now we're going to change some of the muscle activation there. So it's very simple, maybe hard to execute. I want you to take your heel and push your heel to the earth. And then let the big toe become more pronounced. Use your knee a little bit forward and back to find an opportunity to get that heel driving, which means the knee's probably going to straighten a little bit. And then bend the knee ever so slightly to get the ball of the big toe more pronounced in its weight bearing. And then do a couple more of those. And then bring it back so that the heel is now the connection, pushing down into it. Straightness for that front leg. Lean in a little more. Bring the hands forward now. Take a big breath in. Exhale it. This time as you inhale, raise the arms. And as you exhale, sweep the arms down and back. Separate the fingers widely. And then rotate the thumbs externally. So we're kind of opening through the shoulders, proud out the chest. Sweep forward and up the arms. And then sweep them down and back. So that hands themselves are kind of corkscrewing outwards as we go back. Inwards as we come up. Do this a couple more times. And then hold up, hands come over heart. Take that front foot, I want you to push off of it and step it backwards. Wow, you guys are amazing. Now, opposite side. Step that foot forward. Heel aiming to the sky. Ball of the big toe. Anchoring. Now, lean in just a little bit. And now, using the knee to help facilitate. Straighten, heel drives, bend slightly, ball of the big toe. Feel that nice connection. Oscillate between the two. For me, this is a little funny because my balance is more off on this side. So as I do the two things, my core, probably maybe similar to you, is adjusting to find stability here. Now, hold the heel, keep the heel driving, extend the arms forward, lean in a little bit, inhale, raise, exhale, lower and sweep. Same exercise we're doing opposite side. Take an opportunity to make movement happen with tension through the whole range of motion. So we're not just throwing up or sweeping back. We've got muscle control through the whole range of motion. Inhale, raising. Exhale, returning back. One more time. Up, hold up. Hands, heart. Front foot. Explode off a bit backwards. Are you paying attention?
No.
No. All right, now stand with your hips. Sorry, your feet hip width apart. Take a big breath in, push your hands to the sky, keep the palms together. As you inhale, extend, and as you exhale, relax the arms, shoulder height. Flip those palms to face to the earth. Now, we're going to corkscrew the arms as we stand here. So, rotating the thumbs down and back so the palms face backwards, and then rotating the thumbs up and over and back so the palms face up. So let's corkscrew down, back, up, and open. And do that a few more times. Now hold the palms facing to the sky. Take your elbows and bend them. So now we got field goals with palms, the palms facing each other. I'd like you to take your elbows and pull them backwards. And now I'd like you to take your hands and corkscrew. As you make the movement and the hands happen, be mindful of the elbows so they're not drifting forward or back. We've got the retraction, the pulling back of those elbows, shoulder height as we spiral, hands inward and outward. Now, return palm to palm facing. Push the hands to the sky, Open the palms to face forward and draw the elbows back as you pull them down all the way into the body, down into the rib cage if you can. Pull the elbows back as you push all the way back up. Extend all the way back up, and then do that a couple more times. Tension through the whole movement, all the way down and all the way up. If you're feeling any impingement or activation that feels painful, I'd like you to lessen off that elbow pulling backward, but try as best you can to get them back as far as you can. Now, hold up, pull to the sky, big breath in, exhale, fold all the way down. A lot of work for your shoulders, so you felt them burning. That was good stuff. Inhale, extend to a flat back. Straighten out those legs, keep them straight, drift the booty backwards. Keep that back in extension. Take your hands, bring them up onto your thighs. Now, take your elbows, squeeze them together in the back of the body. Take your neck, make it nice and long. Keep those legs nice and straight. Drift backwards until you feel like you're about to topple, but don't. Roll the spine, crowd the chest, squeeze the elbows, pull with the head, make it nice and long, and then unfold, come all the way up. Sweep hands to the sky as you inhale. As you exhale, fold it all the way down, have a seat, lie it down, and get ready for some more fun. We're not nap timing this right now. That's at the end of class. Gonna come all the way down onto our mat. Find that nice extended body, toes aiming up at the sky. So this is one of the things, like when we noticeably do something, as opposed to as we unconsciously do something. And if you lay down and you just kind of like don't think about it, most people, you'll see their feet kind of splay open. And that's normally because we have a high degree of activity that is externally oriented when we sit, because we're always opening up and doing that. So this set of exercises to help strengthen some of those interior or medial or middle thigh muscles to kind of counterbalance. Now to start this off, we're going to step in the feet, just a couple of, this is an exercise we do a lot actually, and we probably haven't done it in a while, but we're going to visit it again. Now with feet hip width apart, I'd like you to flex the feet, which basically means take the top of the feet, pull them into the shin. Simple as that. Now, when we've done that, I'm going to ask you to rotate the thighs and the feet into each other. So this is inward rotation. These are these muscles that I want you to work today. Make these stronger, more effective, so that we rotate more internally than externally. Kind of counterbalance, if you will. Now, squeeze the thighs together. Hold that squeeze. And then let's relax that and then externally rotate. So we're going to take our heels, just like hinges, keep the slight bend in our knees, open the legs all the way as far as they go, and then rotate them back in and squeeze them together. Keep the feet flexed, intensify the squeeze, give me as much thigh to thigh pressure as you can. And then back off and open up. And then come back. The feet flex, squeeze, 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 and hold the squeeze. We're going to add another element into this. As we progress this, I'd like you to drop your arms beside the body. Cup the fingers so the fingertips and thumb tips are the only thing touching. Keep those legs squeezing together as you try to elevate up off the earth, your rear end. I'd like you to push from the heels, squeeze with the legs, keep that all active as you raise that booty up off the earth, and then relax it down, step the legs out. Take the hands above the head and stretch point to point, fingertips to toes. Oh, take a big breath in. On your exhale, bring the knees end up into the chest, forehead meets knees, and then rock and roll up to seated position as you extend that left leg forward, Bend that left knee, so you got a 90-degree bend. And take that right leg, sweep it backwards. As we bring some fun into our lower body here, I'd like you to try to keep 90 degrees best you can in both legs. Now I'm going to post my left arm into the ground. As I push with that, I'd like you to take the opportunity to breathe on this, right? So take a big breath in, and as you exhale, keep the lungs filling, keep the body growing. We're going to put some pressure in some of these joints, so this may be an opportune time, if you need a towel, to grab it, put it in under your knees or ankles, whatever's best for you. If you don't need it, don't worry about it. We're moving on anyways, so grab what you need and keep up as best you can. Take your left arm, continue to post, and create length for that left body by kind of taking the spine and growing it nice and tall. Now, while you hold on that, I'd like you to take your right knee and try to push it into the earth. And then I'd like you to take your right shoulder and then rotate it backwards. So take that rotation, try to drive that right hip down into the earth. Feel that nice intensification, intensifying that inner thigh stretch we got going on there. Might even feel it in the hip socket. And come back straight, so we're rotating back through. And then we're going to hold on this. Then we're going to take that right knee and lift it up off the earth. And then we're going to lower back down. We're going to push back in. And we're going to rotate back. And we're going to drive down that right hip. Time to force it down as best you can. Get that nice, it's killing me. Without pain, it's just like, that's amazing stretch. Hopefully you're feeling it too. Now relax that, rotate it back. As we face forward this time, like you take your knee, right knee that is, lift it up off the earth, hold it up off the earth, and then let the upper body fold down. And then come back up. And then fold back down. Keep that right knee up as best you can. So as we go through the hip flexion and extension, it's primarily focused on that left side, but you may feel the right side muscles and around the hips working hard to keep that knee elevated. And if you feel that, then that's great. And if you don't feel that, talk to your doctor. All right, come back up, lower that knee. I'm going to switch out sides by facing the camera. You could just flip it around if you want to do it. And then as I set up on the opposite side, same kind of setup, 90 and 90, posting with the right hand, and growing that right side, feeling that nice stretch and release. Now, try to grow the body, take that right knee, push it down into the earth. Keep that body posting long and then rotating back that left shoulder and driving that left hip into the earth. And try to push it down there. There we go, folks. And then releasing, rolling forward, and enjoying that sudden release. Now, do it again. Drive the knee down, rotate the shoulders, drive that hip down into the earth. I'm using my right arm to help push and drive and create as much force opening through that left hip. Coming back center, rolling it forward. I'm going to do this one more time, then we begin our folding series. Left knee drives, left shoulder rotates, left hip drives to the earth. And then square it back up. Lift up that left knee, fold the body over the right leg. Keep the left knee elevated as you lower and raise slowly between the 2 points. Remember, tension and movement, muscle tension is important for the stabilization of the joint. As we make the movement happen, we have control, we have tension. Almost immediately, I felt this on the left side. It's getting my weaker movement side. And as I come back up, I'm going to lower back down I'm gonna bring my left leg forward. So I'm now facing forward and I separate the legs, sorry, my heels to the width of the mat. I'm going to use a Pilates style descent, vertebrae by vertebrae, all the way down. Oh, landing on that mat, taking the legs and bringing them up and into the air. Now, extend the heels, see if you can keep the knees locked out. Bring the legs together, squeeze the legs together. Hold these squeeze together the legs. Extend the hands up to the sky, fingers separate widely. As I continue to squeeze the legs, I'm going to reach up and touch my toes and then slowly lower down. So I'm going to keep this inward rotation, inward activation, the medial or middle muscles of the legs active as I descend all the way back to the mat, back of the head touching, and then coming all the way up and try to touch the toes. Do this a few more times. And then holding up, raising a little higher, a little higher, a little higher, and then relaxing everything, letting the feet descend back to the mat, separating them to the width of the mat. Take a big breath in, and as you exhale it, try to pull your pubis to the sky. So that's going to take your tailbone up off the mat. Either way you want to describe it, that's fine. We now should have a good level of activation in our gluteal muscles. I'd like you to keep the six-pack muscle active, but I'd like you to try to create that internal rotation of the pubic girdle, of the pubic girdle, if you will, towards the sky, towards the belly button. How much rotation can you get? And then relax down, let the tailbone roll over, and then try to internally rotate or take the back or top of the pelvic girdle
Or just reverse.
and roll it forward, or reverse it, as Kirsten says. So this is a in and out movement. So let's just rock it in and rock it out. Couple of times. Again, these are not strenuous exercises. They're control-based exercises. So we're going to basically work to manipulate some of these smaller muscles in our hip flexors and extensors, and we're going to hold back. Take your, take your legs, extend them all the way out. Extend your hands behind the back, and Pilates style, up we come. So we're going to do a couple, actually more than a couple, a few of these sit-ups. So coming up, chin dropping, hands diving, spinal flexion, spinal extension as you inhale. Try to get those fingertips well past the feet, and then let the spine begin to curve again, and slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, step it down. And continue. Give my voice a little break. Give your ears a little break. Next up, we're going to dive it down. I'm going to hold down for a couple seconds to enjoy a nice stretch through the lower spinal column, maybe even up and into the low upper back. Sorry. And then coming up to a seated position, sweep the legs back, come up onto all fours. Hands on all fours. We're going to do a little cat-cow. I like you to kind of just slowly articulate the spinal column between the 2 points. This is a different exercise when we're up off the mat. So we have an opportunity to now bring in a lot of our additional spinal column into the pelvic rotation, inward and outward. See if you can improve the range of motion, because we've got a lot more joints in play here. So hold, middle of the spine, pulling to the sky,
push with the arms, let those shoulders grip closer to the earth than the rest of your body. And then let the chest kind of sink in between the arms, getting that chest closer to the earth. Take the back of the head and raise it to the sky. Take your belly button and pull it up and into the spine and start to flex the upper spine. Now, imagine I'm underneath you and I'm going to give you a big punch in the belly. I like you to tighten up those muscles and then float the knees up off the earth. And then pull your hips up and back to down dog. Take your right leg, sweep it up and into the air. And then take the right foot and step up and in between your hands. Nice. Now, up off the back knee, or if it feels better to have your knee down, it's an option. So we're starting with a little higher of a progression today. I'm up off my knee. I'm going to step my right hand inside my right foot. I'm going to step my right foot out a little wider on the mat. I'm going to do the same thing with the left. So basically, side of each foot is on the edge of my mat, on opposite sides, of course. Now, I'm going to take my hands and start walking forward. I'm going to take my right knee and I'm going to start pushing it forward. So it goes forward to the toes. And I'm going to start feeling some muscles gaining some attention. So I'm going to take my left heel, drive it backwards. I'm going to take my right knee and drive it forwards. Just all the while, I'm trying to get some spinal extension. Now, let's slowly lower the left knee towards the earth. If you're on your knee, try to lift it up off the earth. And then down with the knee, up with the knee, drive the heel back, drive the knee forward, let the knees slowly lower back to the earth, come back up off the earth, heel drives back, knee drives forward. Beautiful. Now, adding on to this, walk the hands forward a little more. See if you can lower the elbows. So we're intensifying the stretch by providing more flexion into the hip. I'm going to take a couple breaths, come back up, step the hands back, take the right leg, step it back, pull up and back to down dog. Take the left leg, sweep it to the sky, and then step that left foot up, step it out to the side, do the same with the right foot. You got both hands inside that left foot now. Take that right knee, lower it down, and raise it up. All right, hold the knee up. Walk the hands out. Take the left. The left knee, push it forward. Take the right heel, drive it backwards. Take the right knee, lower to the earth. Extend the legs straight. Right heel drives back. Left heel pushes forward. Right knee drives to the earth. Right knee straightens. Drive the heel back. Push that knee forward. Do it one more time. And this time when you come up, again, walk your hands forward a little more and see if you can lower down towards your forelimbs. And then walk back in. Sweep that left leg back. We did a lot of work on those hips. Let's pull up and back to down dog. Drive the heels into the earth, high onto the tippy toes. Keep onto the tippy toes, drift back to plank. Keep on the tippy toes, pull up and back to down dog. And back to plank. Up and back down dog. Tippy toes are our friends. Come back to plank. Up and back to down dog. Drive the heels to the earth. Walk the hands back to the feet. Separate the feet to the width of the mat. Inhale, extend to a flat back. Exhale, fold back down. As you unfold, sweep your arms to the sky. Good morning again, everybody. Inhale, extend. Beautiful. Relax the arms. Take your body, turn it sideways.
I'm getting a look. I'm gonna grab some water. That's a good idea.
Cheers, cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys. Water. Water break. Who says I'm not humane? Oh, that's such good stuff. Oh, boy. All right, so. I'm gonna bring side. Sorry, I'm gonna stand sideways to the mat. I'm gonna bring some width to the legs. Now, how far wide you can get doesn't necessarily mean the exercise is worse, but as wide as you can get finds a little bit more stress in the muscles we want to really target with this. Now, I'd like you to take your hips, and we're gonna roll forward on the left and then switch to the right. I'd like you to post into the legs, which basically means I'd like you to drive the heel of the foot that we're turning away from into the earth. So if I'm turning left, I'm driving the right heel. And if I'm turning right, I'm driving the left heel. If you feel a little muscles on the hips starting to go, oh, a little bit of stress going on here, that's good stuff. It's good stress. All right, now we're going to square off the hips. Make sure we have the legs nice and straight. Very important for this exercise's effectiveness. We're going to take the heels that we practice driving into the earth. I'm going to drive both of them in the earth and straighten out the legs. You're going to take your belly button, make it nice and active. Like I'm going to punch you in the stomach. You got a strong contraction there. As you pull the hips back, make sure you're not bending these. We want to have these tension, the muscles in the back, be nice and tension. Now, what will happen is our bodies like to take over what they know, what they feel is normal. So it feels normal for us to have more inward or forward rotation, which means your feet are going to feel more pressure at the front part of the foot. I'd like you to drift your butt back and get it back into the heels as we keep the spine nice and long. Now, all this talking is actually purposeful.
Sound bites.
Sound bites, my wife goes. It's not just sound bites. We want some duration here. So spine long, tummy muscles engaged, belly button pulling up. We are trying to tabletop the back as best we can. So as we come down to this, well, some people are visual and are watching. Not everything requires explanation. Sound bites like, oh God. Now, I've got my hands on my shins. And I have as much weight back into the heel of my foot. I'm almost about to topple, but I'm just at that point where I have control. I'm going to try to isometrically activate heels by trying to push them away. And if they slide out from under you, don't do that. Just give me enough to create that activation. And then step your hands down, fingertips, onto the mat. So we have our fingers cupped. I'm going to draw back a little more if I can now. Just going to create a little more tension in that posterior chain of muscle, keeping that spine nice and long. Back is basically tabletop. And I'm going to draw back a little more, walk the hands out a little more. I'm going to hold up. Take my right hand, sweep it directly up the side, about shoulder height, and then lower and switch for the left. So this is just exterior rotation of the shoulder. As we do this, I want you to be mindful of old habits that like to creep back in, which is that interior dominance. And if you start drifting forward, I'd like you to pull back and keep the weight bearing as best you can in the heel of the foot. Now, on the next time up where you started, for me was the right side. I'm going to hold up. And we're going to bring some spinal rotation. I'm going to take the right shoulder and open it to the sky, and then lower and switch for the left. Now it's shoulder rotation, not an extra reach with the arm. The arm's going to rotate because the shoulder is opening up. And we're going to do this a couple more times on each side, keeping the weight where? Yeah, back in the heel. You got it. All right, now lowering down, step in the legs, keep folded, let the spine go into flexion, take a couple breaths. As you inhale, extend to a flat back. As you exhale, bend both knees. And as you unfold, push all the way up to the sky. Oh, feel that in my hips. I don't know about you guys, but man, that just feels so good all of a sudden. As you inhale, extend. Exhale, release. Take your right foot, step it forward. Keeping up on the toes, keeping the heel of that back foot down. You have the toes aligning straight forward. Now, take your hands on your hips. I feel like doing the hoochie coochie, right? Put your left toe in. Now, keeping the spine nice and long. We're gonna take that ball of the big toe on the right foot. I'd like you to make sure it's got a nice connection point. Take the knee of that right leg and bend it, but keep the ball connected. Now, fold over the leg.
Don't lift your back heel.
Keep the back heel pushing into the earth. Now, bring straightness to the front leg. Drive the heel of that right foot into the earth. And then bend the knee. And then straighten it, drive the heel. So you need a significant amount of lean here to really kind of trigger enough weight or overload into these muscles. So that the knee bend, straighten it, heel drives, hold on that, hold with the heel driving, and then stand up, keep the feet in position. Now, hands over heart, fold forward, come down as far as you can go, and then rise back up. As you transition between up and down, keep that left heel planted. So this is hip flexion and extension, and there's a lot of focus here on that right side as you come down. You should feel a little bit of tension through the whole range of motion. Hold up, take that front foot, blast it back. Take the left foot, step it forward. Same thing, opposite side, left toe, left knee bends, right heel drives to the earth. We begin to lean in. And then between bent knee and straight knee, up and down. Pushing forward, ball of big toe, driving back, drive to the heel. How much load that muscle takes is really dependent upon how much you're leaning in, right? So find the balance for you. All right, on this one, keep the heel driving. Keeping hands over heart. Folding, spine extended. So this is all left side focus, hip flexion. Rising back up. Slowly down. Slowly up. Like the sound effects? I know, it's pretty cool. It's amazing how our body weight can impart enough load into our muscles to provide the opportunity to find growth and strength. Now, it's time when you rise back up, explode off that front leg, come back to standing, arms sweep to the sky as you inhale, exhale, full forward fold, come down onto the mat. Oh, I'm gonna do some stretching to finish up.
Yay.
Yay! I'm gonna do one more water grab here. Cheers to everybody. So today we focused on hip mobility and shoulder mobility. Of course, our bodies work systemically, so we had a lot of muscles and joints between those two joints we were just talking about, nice and active. I have both feet now planted on the earth. I'm going to take my right foot and step it
just slightly outside of my right hip. I'm gonna take my left foot, my left leg, and I'm gonna sweep it over the right. So as best you can, I'd like you to try to get the legs on top of each other. Sometimes there's a little gap, that's fine. This is your best version of it. Now I'm gonna use the ball of my right big toe and my right heel is kind of like hinges. I'm gonna begin to start to pull my right leg towards the left side of my body with the left leg. And you'll start to feel at a certain point some tension in that right hip, or maybe a little lower. Those nice muscles of the hip. A nice stretch. This goes into your medial, or actually your lateral muscles of the right side, your gluteus medius, minimus, tensor fasciae latae here. We're gonna progress this stretch. So we're gonna take the left leg and try to pull towards the earth. Getting it down isn't the best for the stretch. So a lot of times people just roll up on their left side. So you really just kind of maybe have a 45-degree angle in your pelvic girdle, and you have a nice muscle tension for that whole right side. Now, adding on to this, we're going to take our right hand, reach it up into the sky, and you're going to sweep it directly back so that the arm comes almost over your ear. And you're going to pull with your fingers to make that arm nice and long, to feel it all the way down. Oh my God, that feels so good. To that right side. And then sweep that right arm back up. And then we're going to set it up for the opposite side. I know my princess is telling me I'm out of time, but we're going to go a little bit longer just because this is such a good stretch.
You're bad plan.
Because I'm a bad planner. Well, Kirsten's not going to be on my show anymore. All right, so let's same thing, opposite side. Gonna hang out a couple seconds as I think of something nice to say about Kirsten.
Get the arm working.
And now we're gonna add in our left arm, sweeping it directly backwards. The arm kind of overlaps the ear. Now separate the fingers and pull with those fingers. Make that nice long pull all the way down into that left side. Keeping that left knee floating, rowing the body. Imagine length is your friend here. On your next breath, let's return it back. Coming back and uncrossing legs, knees come up and into the chest, forehead comes up to meet the knees, rock a little bit, just enjoy that little bit of massage in the low back. And then when you're ready, rock it up to a seated position. Bring your hands over heart, and let me thank you for joining us today. Have a wonderful fun day on Sunday. Namaste.
Namaste. High five. Thank you. Thank you. Again.
Wow.
Hey,
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.